Shalom. As we go through this week's parasha, I've got two questions for you. And one is, have you let things that God has given you responsibility for, have you let any of them get out of control? And the second question is, what does God's glory look like? And we're going to look at both of those things in this parasha this week. It's Ki Tisa, it's Exodus 30, verse 11, through 34, verse 35. The Haftarah portion is Ezekiel 36, verses 16 through 18. And the New Covenant portion is 1 Corinthians 8, verses 4 through 13. So last week's portion was Tetzaveh, and we looked at the attire of the priest and how he had the breastplate on, and he had these two stones on his shoulders. And on the stones and on the breastplate were the 12 names of the sons of Israel, which the priest brought before the Lord daily, and was just challenging us to bring those names of our loved ones before the Lord. And I have really been working on it this last week. I want to start right in Exodus chapter 30, starting in verse 11. The Lord also spoke to Moses, saying, "When you take a census of the sons of Israel, to number them, then each one of them shall give a ransom for himself to the Lord. The rich," going down to verse 15, "the rich shall not pay more, and the poor shall not pay less than the half shekel, which you give the contribution to the Lord to make atonement for yourselves." Now this is so important because it says both the rich and the poor pay the same thing for this ransom. And what it really means is we all have the same value before God, no matter if we are rich or we are poor, and there is one price for atonement. And ultimately, we know what that price was. It was what Yeshua paid. He paid for that ransom for us with his life. Going on, in verse 17 of chapter 30, Exodus 30, we see, last week we were also talking, God's been telling the children of Israel how to make these things to go into the Mishkan, the holy place. He was talking about the menorah, and he was talking about the table of bread. And here he talks about the making of the bronze laver. It was going to be a place where the priest would wash. He also talks about the making of the anointing oil. In chapter 31, starting in verse 12, it's really starting to rain quite a bit now. So we're so blessed here with all this rain. We've actually had to relocate. What a great blessing. I've got Kitty Poo down by my feet too, because Kitty Poo says it's so cold. What a wonderful day. So back to where we were. In Exodus chapter 31, God starts talking about the Shabbat, looking in verse 12. But the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "But as for you, speak to the sons of Israel, saying, you shall surely observe my Shabbats. For this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am the Lord who sanctifies you. Therefore, you are to observe the Shabbat, for it is holy to you." And looking down at verse 16, "So the sons of Israel shall observe the Shabbat, to celebrate the Shabbat throughout their generations as a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the sons of Israel." And there's this saying that, not so much that the Jews have kept the Shabbat, but the Shabbat has kept the Jews. And this has been something that has really helped the Jewish people keep their identity throughout all these generations to this very day. Going on, at the end of chapter 31, verse 18, when he had finished speaking with him, that means God. So God's been talking to Moses all of this time. And it says, when he had finished speaking with him, Moses, upon Mount Sinai, he gave Moses the 2 tablets of the testimony, tablets of stone, which were written by the finger of God. In chapter 32, so Here comes Moses. He's been up there all this time talking with God. And where were the people? They were down at the bottom of the mountain. Okay, this is what's going on now in Exodus 32. How exciting does this story get? When the people saw that Moses delayed to come down from the mountain, the people assembled about Aaron and said to him, "Come, make us a god who will go before us. As for this Moses, the man who brought us up from the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him." Aaron said to them, "Tear off the gold rings which are in the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me." Then all the people tore off the gold rings which were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. He took this from their hand and fashioned it with a graving tool and made it into a molten calf. And they said, "This is your God, O Israel, who brought you up from the land of Egypt." Now, when Aaron saw this, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, "Tomorrow shall be a feast to the Lord." So the next day they rose early and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and to drink, and they rose up to play. Verse 7, then the Lord spoke to Moses, "Go down at once, for your people whom you brought up from the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves." God is so angry. He's not even calling them my people anymore. He says to Moses, "They're your people." In verse 8, they have quickly turned aside from the way which I commanded them. They have made for themselves a molten calf and have worshipped it and have sacrificed to it and said, "This is your God, O Israel, who brought you up from the land of Egypt." The Lord said to Moses, "I have seen this people, and behold, they are an obstinate people. Now then let me alone, that my anger may burn against them, and that I may destroy them. And I will make of you a great nation." So God says, get out of the way, Moses. I'm going to destroy this people. But Moses, I'll use you, and I will make a great nation. Okay, going on in verse 11, Moses, he starts to pray. Moses makes intercession for these wicked people. And he says, Moses entreated the Lord his God and said, "Oh Lord, why does your anger burn against your people, whom you have brought out from the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand? Why should the Egyptians speak, saying, with evil intent he brought them out to kill them in the mountains and to destroy them from the face of the earth? Turn from your burning anger and change your mind about doing harm to your people. Remember Abraham, Yitzchak, and Israel, your servants, to whom you swore by yourself and said to them, I will multiply your descendants as the stars of the heavens, and all this land of which I have spoken I will give to your descendants, and they shall inherit it forever." So the Lord changed his mind about the harm which he said he would do to his people, all because of the prayers of a man of God. Verse 15, then Moses turned and went down from the mountain with the 2 tablets of the testimony in his hand, tablets which were written on both sides. They were written on one side and the other. The tablets were God's work. These tablets had been cut by God. And the writing was God's writing engraved on the tablets. Now, when Joshua heard the sound of the people as they shouted, he said to Moses, "There is a sound of war in the camp." But he said, "It is not the sound of the cry of triumph, nor is it the sound of the cry of defeat, but the sound of singing I hear." It came about as soon as Moses came near the camp that he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moses' anger burned, and he threw the tablets from his hands and shattered them at the foot of the mountain. He took the calf which they had made and burned it with fire and ground it to powder and scattered it over the surface of the water, and he made the sons of Israel drink it. Then Moses said to Aaron, "What did this people do to you that you have brought such great sin upon them?" Aaron said, "Do not let the anger of my Lord burn. You know the people yourself, that they are prone to evil. For they said to me, 'Make a God for us who will go before us.' For this Moses, the man who brought us up from the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him." I said to them, "Whoever has gold, let them tear it off." So they gave it to me, and I threw it into the fire, and out came this calf. Oh my goodness. That's a big one, isn't it? In verse 25, now when Moses saw that the people were out of control, for Aaron had let them get out of control to be a derision among their enemies, then Moses stood at the gate of the camp and said, whoever is for the Lord, come to me. And all the sons of Levi gathered to him. So what we see right here is it says, Moses saw that the people were out of control, for Aaron had let them get out of control. And each one of us has even little areas of responsibility in our life that God expects us to keep in control. And so maybe this week, this is something that we can all think about. What has God given me responsibility for? Is there something that I've let get out of control? Something that he wants me to bring back into order and into control? All right, moving on. In chapter 33, the Lord spoke to Moses, depart, go up from here, you and the people whom you have brought up from the land of Egypt to the land of which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, to your descendants I will give it. I will send an angel before you, and I will drive out the Canaanite, the Amorite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite. Go up to a land flowing with milk and honey, for I will not go up in your midst, because you are an obstinate people, and I might destroy you on the way. Now, of course, Moses hears this, and I think his heart just broke. We look down at verse 11, and it says, thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face, just as a man speaks to his friend. When Moses returned to the camp, his servant Joshua, the son of Nun, a young man, would not depart from the tent. Then Moses said to the Lord, see, you say to me, bring up this people, but you yourself have not let me know whom you will send with me. Moreover, you have said, I have known you by name, and you have also found favor in my sight. Now, therefore, I pray you, if I have found favor in your sight, remember this is Moses praying, let me know your ways, that I may know you, so that I may find favor in your sight. Consider too that this nation is your people. And he said, my presence shall go with you, and I will give you rest. Then Moses said to him, if your presence does not go with us, do not lead us up from here. For how then can it be known that I have found favor in your sight, I and your people? Is it not by your going with us, so that I and your people may be distinguished from all the other people who are upon the face of the earth? The Lord said to Moses, I will also do this thing of which you've spoken, for you have found favor in my sight, and I have known you by name. And then Moses said, I pray you show me your glory. So this is now his prayer. God, show me your glory, and we are going to find out what that looks like. Verse 19, God said, I myself will make all my goodness pass before you, and will proclaim the name of the Lord before you. And I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and I will show compassion on whom I will show compassion. But he said, you cannot see my face, for no one can see me and live. And then the Lord said, behold, there is a place by me, and you shall stand there on the rock. And it will come about, while my glory is passing by, that I will put you in the cleft of the rock and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take my hand away, and you shall see my back, but my face shall not be seen. In chapter 34, now the Lord said to Moses, cut out for yourself 2 stone tablets like the former ones. So just remember the first 2 tablets, the ones that Moses ended up throwing on the ground in anger, those tablets were cut by the hand of God. But now God says to Moses, you cut 2 stone tablets. And God says, I will write on the tablets the words that were on the former tablets, which you shattered. So be ready by morning, and come up in the morning to Mount Sinai, and present yourself there to me on the top of the mountain. And we go to verse 4 in chapter 34. So Moses cut out 2 stone tablets like the former ones, and Moses rose up early in the morning and went up to Mount Sinai as the Lord had commanded him, and he took 2 stone tablets in his hand. The Lord descended in the cloud and stood there with him as he called upon the name of the Lord. And then the Lord passed by in front of him and proclaimed, the Lord God, compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in loving kindness and truth, who keeps loving kindness for thousands, who forgives iniquity, transgression, and sin. Yet he will by no means leave the guilty unpunished, visiting the iniquity of fathers on the children and on the grandchildren, on the 3rd and 4th generations. Wow, what a beautiful picture of the glory of God. And this is exactly who he is: compassionate, kind, gracious, slow to anger, abounding in loving kindness and truth, keeping loving kindness for thousands, forgiving iniquity. What a mighty God we serve, and what a picture to carry with us as we just keep this parasha in our heart all this week, meditating on who our God is. I bless you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Shalom.